What's up guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in the very first video, I talked about how diet can impact eczema. In this video, what you're going to expect to see is I'm going to share with you 5 foods that I believe causes eczema to be worse. Now, of course, this list doesn't apply to everyone. Some people eat these foods and they're perfectly fine. But what I found with my clients is that these foods are commonly the worst for eczema. So we know that a diet filled with processed foods, chips, treats, desserts, all the good things is not good for our health. But for eczema, of course, it's the same thing. We want to avoid foods that are packaged. Now, there's certain ingredients in these foods that we really want to look out for, which I'm going to talk about. But I'm also going to give you guys an example of what you can eat instead. So be sure to watch this video until the very end, because not only are you going to learn the 5 foods you should avoid for your eczema, but you also have an idea of what to eat as an alternative. And I'm also going to show you how to read labels so that when you're going grocery shopping, you know what to look for. The very first thing you want to avoid, if you haven't already, is gluten-containing foods. Now, for those of you who don't know what gluten is a protein that is found in mostly wheat-containing products. So these include breads, pastas, crackers, chips are commonly where gluten is found. Not only this, gluten can actually be hidden in a lot of foods as well. So these are things like sauces, dressings, even spices. Now, what exactly is the reasoning why gluten can affect our skin? So there was actually a study conducted a few years ago where researchers looked at the intestinal permeability of 4 different groups of people. So the groups of people they did research on were those who had celiac disease, those with celiac disease but were in remission, non-celiac individuals, and non-celiac individuals with a gluten sensitivity. And so they actually took biopsies of these individuals and they looked at how permeable the gut lining was after they were exposed to gluten. What they found was that in every group, everybody had an increased gut permeability. So what this tells us is that even if you don't have celiac disease, for example, people with eczema, when you eat gluten, it increases the chances of your gut becoming permeable. That's why some people with eczema, when they avoid gluten initially, they see results. Now, gluten-free products are often made with things like rice and nuts. And for those of you who have a nut sensitivity, that could be an issue. So a lot of times people just avoid eating bread and pastas in general. For me, because I love pasta, I found that I could tolerate brown rice pasta and pasta made with beans like chickpeas and lentils. The second food to avoid is dairy-containing foods. Now, there isn't that much research showing that dairy can definitely affect eczema. However, it's one of those things where people notice improvement when they avoid dairy. So dairy products include cow's milk, cheese, and yogurt. Some dairy alternatives that you can choose instead includes nut milk, rice milk, and hemp milk. And of course, if you're allergic to nuts, then you want to stick with probably rice milk or hemp milk. For those of you who love cheese and yogurt, there are actually a lot of brands that carry vegan yogurts, and they're often made from a nut base. The third type of food that can affect eczema is red meat. Now, I feel like that a lot of people don't know that red meat can actually cause more inflammation. So there's actually research showing that when red meat is consumed, the bacteria in your gut ferments the proteins. And when the proteins are fermented, it produces a compound called hydrogen sulfide. Now, hydrogen sulfide has been shown to impact the gut barrier. Most of these studies were on people with inflammatory bowel disease, including ulcerative colitis. Now, because we know that eczema is linked to our gut health, it pretty much is applicable in the sense that when you eat red meat and is creating inflammation in the gut, then we probably should be eating less of it. I had a client the other day tell me that they've been eating red meat all of their lives. Especially in the Asian culture, red meat is quite common to have. So for those of you who are asking what red meat is, basically beef, pork, and lamb. And so the client of mine told me that he stopped eating red meat because he saw me talking about how that can affect his skin. And a few days later, he noticed his skin is significantly improving. Now, even though there isn't direct research on how red meat can affect eczema, these case studies tell us that red meat can be something to consider removing out of your diet if you haven't tried it already. Instead of having red meat like beef, pork, and lamb, other meats are fine to have. So these include chicken and fish. I usually say try to eat more fish because fish has lots of good nutrients in there, including omega-3s. Shellfish is another food to avoid. They contain compounds called histamines, which are naturally produced in the body. Now, histamine actually is what creates itchiness, and there's a lot of foods out there that contain higher histamine levels, and shellfish is one of them. Shellfish include lobster, prawn, and crab. Now, this doesn't include fish, so salmon and whitefish, tilapia, cod, those are all okay to have. The very last food that can affect eczema is soy products. Now, soy is commonly found in pretty much everything: vegan foods, vegan meats, soy milk, soybeans. Now, the problem with soy is that it contains anti-nutrients that are actually protein inhibitors. And so when you eat soy-containing products, these protein inhibitors affects your enzymes in your body that helps to break down food. People with eczema who may already have digestive issues, when they eat soy, they are further exacerbating their digestion. Now here, I just wanted to show you guys what to look for when you're reading labels. Now, when you're buying a product, you should look at the front of the packaging to say if it's dairy, gluten, or soy free. And typically, if it says that right here, then it is safe to have. Now, if they don't have that labeling at the front of the package, this is where you want to look at the back, where the nutrition facts table is. And you want to read the ingredients and make sure that there isn't any hidden gluten, dairy, or soy, or other allergens. So in this product right here is actually non-dairy milk that I have at home. You can see that there's no dairy at all in the ingredient list. Now, at the bottom of the ingredient list, there's actually a section where it says, for example here, made in a facility with soy. This is when cross-contamination of allergens can be an issue. But these are only applicable to those people who have severe allergies. Now, if you're just avoiding foods on an elimination diet for your eczema, then it's okay if you find this statement in these products. That is all, guys. Those are the 5 foods I think you should avoid if you haven't done so already for your eczema. Now, I do want to mention that avoiding food does not guarantee your skin is going to heal. I hear a lot of people say that they eliminated dairy, gluten, soy, and all these things, and they still haven't seen results. Healing eczema is more than just avoiding foods. A lot of times, people with chronic eczema, like I did, I needed to look deeper to why my skin wasn't healing even though I was eating healthy. However, cleaning up your diet is something you still need to do if you want your skin to heal. If you like this video, be sure to click the subscribe button and also check out my Instagram at juliachien.ca. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.